So I did preserve some eggs. My freeze dryer, so I have eggs over the winter. I've also preserved them in the past by water glassing them. I've decided not to do that this year, but I will link the video below where I've done that. I know a lot of people water glass eggs. It's a great way, if you don't have a freeze dryer, it's a great way to preserve eggs for long-term storage. And you have fresh eggs all winter long. I made some pickled eggs. I had recorded an entire video on how I did this, but for some reason it didn't record. I don't know what happened. In this brine, I made it super simple. There are so many recipes on how to make this brine. It's very, very easy. I just made it over the stove with white vinegar, filtered water, 3 cups of vinegar, it calls for a half a cup of sugar, but I think I used just like a 1/4 cup of sugar, a tablespoon of sea salt I use, so you need like a coarse salt. I put some bay leaf in here, some dill, and I put you can put whatever herbs you like. I just put a bunch of fresh herbs that I had from my garden. Whatever I have out there, I throw them in there. Garlic. What else did I put in there? I put a little bit of like some hot peppers that I had in my garden. So pretty much you can do whatever. But I first just took the brine and heated it. So the vinegar, sugar, water. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have 3 cups of white vinegar, 3 cups of water. And I heat that up, and then I let that cool down, and then I had put all my herbs and stuff in the jar, and then I put my hard-boiled eggs in here, and then I poured that over. That was really pretty much how I did it. So I know I probably have other videos on how I did it, but I just wanted to explain it since that video when I was doing it didn't work out. So that is a great way to preserve them. These are so awesome for quick snacks. You can use them, cut them up in salads. I know when I thought of pickled eggs, I thought, ew, at first it didn't, but they're delicious. And it is also a fermented food. So there you have it. I forgot how much I enjoy the pickled eggs. So I have the eggs going in the Instapot. If you have an Instapot, it's the easiest way to hard-boiled eggs. Process them on the egg button, or you just pressure cook them for 5 minutes. Let them release and sit for a good 5 minutes, and then I put them in ice cold water, or super cold water, for 5 minutes, and then I peel them and make our pickled eggs. And it's another fermented food, great for gut health, and lasts for a very long time in the refrigerator. So today I am going to make a pot of some chicken soup. I pulled these carrots out of the garden, so I washed them. I've got an onion here. I wasn't able to grow some celery, so I picked up some organic celery at Walmart. I got my yogurt going here. I made some butter. So I just kept a little fresh butter out for myself. Froze the rest. So yeah, I'm going to get this chicken going. Here, just put some garlic in here. I'm going to put some salt and pepper. Start this cooking. And we are going to make a nice pot of some chicken soup to have for this week. I thought that would be delicious. So this is continuing my day in the kitchen. Hey, so now I have my onion, my carrots, and my celery in here with my fresh chicken that I got from the farm. I get my dairy. I put some garlic, salt, and pepper, and I am going to put a little bit of minced garlic. If you have been following my Food is Medicine series, this is all full of foods that we have discussed in our Food as Medicine series. So this is a great way to add those foods in. I also might put a little bit of turmeric in here. I just kind of throw that in, and my vegetable powder. I throw that in just to get some extra nutrients. I'm getting an Azure Standard order next week, so I'm getting some more minced garlic. I mean, not garlic, but ginger. So I'm going to use up the rest of my ginger and throw it in here for some extra boost there. And don't worry, nothing is going wasted. The little ends and celery leaves, since I didn't have enough to really freeze dry up, I'm going to give those to the chickens. And then the ends of everything else I put in the freezer, and I use them when I make my bone broth. So no waste. We use them all up since they're good organic ingredients. I go ahead and use them for future recipes. All right, everybody, I'm going to let this cook in my roaster on slow all day. Get some delicious soup going, and I will show you when it's done. See you in a bit.
A few moments later.
I had some bananas to use up, so something to go with that fresh butter and a treat to keep on hand. Hi friends, welcome back. So I took my chicken out of the soup and I'm letting it cool so I can debone it. Then I'm letting the broth become to a boil and I decided I'm gonna make some homemade dumplings to go in my soup. So in here I have 4 cups of organic flour, and to that I usually add about 1 egg for every cup of flour. So these are my eggs for my chicky chicks. And I am gonna start with 4 eggs here. And then what I did put some salt in there. And what I like to do too, just to make them so they're a little bit not as dense. Now when my mom made them, she always liked them super dense. I usually add just a little bit of milk. This is a little bit of the buttermilk that's left after I made butter today. So I'm just gonna put just a little bit of this in. I usually do about 1/4 cup. We'll just do that, and then I'm just gonna mix it. I have a glove on because I usually go in there with my hand, but I'm gonna start by mixing it here and see the consistency. And then once my broth gets boiling, I will drop them in there and I will just let them boil for about a good 10 minutes. I'm thinking I might need to add a little more egg in here. I was kind of thinking that because I made a double batch here. I'm gonna add 1 more egg. And now if you wanted to do noodles, what you do with noodles is you just roll them out with a rolling pin and you slice them really thin. And then you just got some great homemade noodles. So that is kind of how we, in my family, have always made these. And my grandma, what she would do is she would add some baking soda to them and she'd have these really fluffy, almost kind of like a Bisquick dumpling. But so my mom liked them really dense and hard. Like you could just have a fight with them. My grandma liked them really fluffy, and I like them in between. so that's kind of how we make them. But yeah, I like them where I just add a little milk in there. I'm gonna add 1 more egg here. Nothing like some good homemade chicken dumpling soup. Whoops, I just made a little mess here. And when these are all done, I'll give it a taste. Man, I am just making a mess, that is okay. I've got my yogurt over there. I've got my chicken cooling, and I've got my big roaster oven going. So that's why I decided to do it over here. Okay, let's go ahead and see how this is doing for the consistency. I think this is going to be pretty good. I just want it to come together here. And I use a big bowl because I like to just kind of have enough room to really squish them up. I add just a little bit more of the milk here. Tiny bit more. And like I usually do about 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit less, and that's with the regular. So like I said, I'm doing a double batch, maybe closer to 1/2 cup here on this. And we'll just get this all mixed in really good. So it is going to be a nice firm consistency, and I kind of drop them in there so they don't have to be pretty. They're not in a nice form. This is not chef cooking, restaurant cooking. This is basically nice wholesome cooking. So this is about the consistency of the dumplings. So I'm going to go ahead and see if the soup is hot enough, and then I will go ahead and add this into the soup. So I'll bring you over there and we'll see how that looks. So here I started cutting up some of the chicken, but it is pretty hot still. So what I'll do is I'll just put in to my soup that's starting to boil some pieces of the chicken. And then what I'm going to do is I just take about this size pieces of dumplings and drop them in. So I'm just going to drop them in, and then I let them boil for, I don't know, about 10 to 20 minutes. It's not boiling super good. I'll put the cover back on and I'll probably let them boil for about 20 minutes because it's starting to boil. So that is what I'm going to do. And then when it's all done, I will show it to you and give it a little taste test, and we will see how our homemade chicken and dumpling soup turns out. Okay, here's the soup in the pot done. Here's some in my bowl, and I'm gonna try some. It's really hot. It is delicious. Really good. Fresh soup, fresh chicken, carrots from the garden. Yum. Delicious. That is delicious. Thanks, everyone. Friends, so here's how I finished off my soup. I did get a can, I pressure canned 4 quarts of them. So I'm gonna get these labeled. I just washed these jars up. I'm gonna label these up and put them on my pantry. And I am making my smoothie for the next couple days. I decided to go a little tropical. I have some frozen pineapple that I need to use up. I put some banana and some berries. I'm going to add some more yogurt to here, mix this up for my smoothie. And then later today, I am going to I have an Azure order coming next week. So I'm going to try to empty out my freezer, all the frozen fruit in there, and I'm going to try to freeze dry up a bunch of frozen fruits. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this day in the kitchen. Have a blessed day, and remember that you're loved. Bye.